Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to Freedom Field at Eastwood High School just outside of Pemberville. As you can see behind us, it's homecoming. They've been smashing the car here all night. But, Drew, the question is, will it be smash mouth football tonight with the Lake Flyers coming in at 5-0, 2-0 in the NBC with that dangerous spread offense? Kind of tell us what you think about the Lake offense coming in tonight to Eastwood.
It's going to be really interesting to see how they do with the weather, with the grass, with being a natural grass field. It's going to be wet. So it'd be interesting to see the sun's, it's going to clear up here in a little bit. So we might see if the field dries off later, but it'd be really interesting to see how they do with the wet field.
And, of course, they have two great receivers who are leading the NBC in Todd Walters, a junior, and Adam Duncan. Todd Walters, we like to call him T-Money because he is the possession guy over the middle. He leads the NBC, and Adam Duncan, who runs a 4.6, is the home run guy. And, of course, you have Jared Redding, all NBC, all Mr. Everything quarterback. He's dominant. He's got all the school records. We saw him throwing the ball out there, warming up earlier. He seemed to have no trouble gripping that football.
No, not at all. He's got a nice tight ball, and I'm sure they won't have any problems tonight. I'm sure he's experienced quarterback. He's a junior, but he's experienced, and it'd be really interesting to see how he does.
And on the other side of the ball, we come in with Jerry Rutherford, who is in his 32nd year as the head coach here. He's definitely the elder statesman of the SLL and the NBC, and he features a wing T running attack, so it's going to be more grinded out. They have two of the top rushers in the NBC, in Devin Snowden and Brent Schlumbum. So we kind of have a whole different banquet of football here tonight with spread offense, a passing attack on one side, and a rushing attack on the other side. We're just about 10 minutes from kickoff. We're ready to roll. This game here tonight is a big game. I think this game tonight kind of tests to see if Lake's for real. What do you think of that? Do you agree?
Yeah, I think they are for real. It'll be interesting if they can get past Eastwood. Then it's gonna be a huge matchup for next week versus Genoa, and I'm sure we'll be out for that game next week as well. You and I, and Coach Rutherford, he's been there for so long. You and I both played for Genoa, so we played against him, and we know, what to expect.
Okay, with that, we will see you down on the field, up on the booth, wherever. We'll be coming back with the scores and all the action here shortly here on Toledo Sports Network. Stay tuned.
Federal Bank is a proud sponsor of high school football in Northwest Ohio.
Hey, hi again, everybody, and welcome to Toledo Sports Network High School Football. And Rick Waldron here with Jeff Norwalk with NBC contest tonight, Jeffrey.
Yeah, always good to be with you, Rick. Here tonight we have a tale of two teams. Lake's going to kick the ball off here. Picked him out, but kind of bobbled by the Eastwood receiver here. Finds a little bit of a seam upside the right sideline.
That's Grant Gieser. He's up across the 50. One man to beat.
Chased down by Adam Duncan. Finally pushed him out of bounds, and the home team, Rick, is all of a sudden in business off the opening kickoff.
Right away. Fires up this homecoming crowd here at Eastwood High School. And a real quick shout out to Dr. Welker, the superintendent here at Eastwood. Chris Fahim, the superintendent? No, he's the athletic director, I think. But anyway, we love all those good people here at Eastwood. And Eastwood's in shape, really.
On the 22-yard line, already threatening, already almost in the Lake red zone. Jake Schmeltz, they're all Mr. Everything quarterback's going to bring the Eagles up the line, and we're going to see. We're about ready to get it on here, Rick.
Smeltz under center. Hands off to Devin Snowden, and got a few yards. About 8, actually, looking at 2nd and 2.
Yeah, ball on the 14-yard line. And last week we covered the Genoa game. We saw Devin Snowden, even though the Eagles lost 41-7 to the champion Comets, Devin Snowden did a good job against Genoa last week.
He's fourth in the NBC in rushing, and he's averaging 6.5 yards a carry. We already have a timeout.
You just know that Coach Mark Amon's in his first year with the Lake Flyers. Has the Flyers at 5-0 and 2-0 in the NBC. Not at all happy, Rick, with that kick return coverage there that has Eastwood knocking on the door. Coach Amons came from Wasion. He was there for 21 seasons. He had 3 Northwest Ohio Athletic Conference championships, and in '93, Rick, went all the way to state championship. 14-0 that year.
Wasion Chiefs.
Indians were, yep.
Well, he's had his initial say with the Flyers. He got him over to the sideline in a hurry. And between the big, long kickoff return as well as 8-yard run by Snowden to get things started, he just, I think he wanted to get a couple of the guys' attention. Like you'd mentioned, Jeff, Eastwood runs that single wing just like the Comets. There's a handoff this time.
That was Brennan Seifert who took the handoff there. It's going to be 3rd and less than a yard. Ball and 13. Of course, that Lake defense is led by senior linebacker. He was a first-team All-NBC performer last year, Nick Walsh. Also a great wide receiver and a running back for the offense. So Lake has a lot of tools, a lot of weapons, but they're being tested here early by the Eagles.
3rd and short on the 12-yard line. Handoff up the middle.
That was Snowden again. He's going to have enough for the first down. So far for the Flyers, Rick, it's bend but don't break. But right now they're in big trouble back up against their own goalposts here. And that's going to give Eastwood a new set of downs with the ball on the 10.
Lucas McCullough he's one of he's Eastwood's leading scorer with 16 kick and a couple of field goals here. 1st and goal from the 10.
Devin Snowden again with the carry up the gut. Lake going to bring Snowden to the ground, tackled by a pair of Flyers. That's going to bring up 2nd and 7, ball on the 7-yard line. And I believe that tackle was made by number 59, Tyler Harp. He's also a senior for the Flyers. So the Flyers again with a tough defense this year. We were talking about some of these stats earlier. They've only allowed 60 points so far this year, but Eastwood knocking on the door. A little bit of a misdirection there. Again, Flyers are going to stiffen up. Brent Schlumbaum was the ball carrier that time. And Jake Schmeltz kind of did like a little fake bootleg right, and the play went left, but it did not fool the Flyers whatsoever. 9:22 here from Freedom Field, just outside Pemberville, home of the Eastwood Eagles. We're 0-0 here early in a very, very important NBC game here. We're about halfway point through the season. The host Eagles come in at 3-2 and 1-1 in the NBC.
Schmeltz now under center. Fakes a bootleg, hands off.
Snowden tried to reach out with that football, but that's going to bring up 4th down, Rick. 4th and 1, ball on the 1-yard line. So if you're Jerry Rutherford, do you go for the points here, or do you just try to cram it down their throats? 32 years of experience, Rick. What do you think is in the coach's mind?
I have a hunch he's just going to try to punch it right
Power
across.
Football here in Pemberville on a Friday night.
Yep, you hate to see this kind of a kickoff return and 22-yard drive end with just 3 points.
It's going to go to, they faked to Snowden, and they...
Seifert.
I think Lake stopped it, Rick. I think Lake stopped it. The Lake defense holds on the 1 yard line, and they are jacked up.
At that end of the field, I have an obstructed view. I thought he was in, but
it did kind of look like it, but we have a signal from the ref.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Lake held, and the Flyers players went off the field celebrating. I think Coach Mark Amons met him about halfway out there. So that's going to bring the Lake, that high-powered spread offense, out. Jared Reddig's going to come out. And, of course, he works solely out of the shotgun.
Yep.
Right away, he's going to go to the air. And that was Adam Duncan, the sophomore, who caught that. And, Rick, you have the stats on Adam Duncan here. He is number 2 in the NBC, 13 receptions for 317 yards with an average of 24.4. And he's going to move the sticks right off the bat. Yes, he's a sophomore.
Sophomore wide receiver, too. Yep.
1st and 10 on the 13. This time Duncan's going to split out left. We're going to have Todd Walters, the big junior, 6'2 junior, to the right. Marcel Bryan takes the handoff that time, and that didn't fool the Eastwood Eagles. Brought down by a quartet of Eagles, or maybe we should say an Eagles nest. And that's going to bring up 2nd and 15, a loss of 5. Put Jared Reddig and the Flyer offense back on the 7-yard line. Again, if you're just joining us, this is Toledo Sports Network. He's R-Dub, Rick Waldron. I'm Jay Walk and Jeff Norwalk. We're coming to you from Freedom Field, just outside Pemberville, home of the Eagles.
Otherwise known as Underdogs Radio, too. Check us out on Facebook.
Good call, my friend. Again, Reddig working out of the gun. We have twins right. He's going to roll right. He's going to keep it himself. He is definitely a threat to run. And it looks like, Rick, he's going to bring it up maybe to the original line of scrimmage.
Reddig is averaging 5.3 yards a carry. So
yeah.
He doesn't call his own number that many times, but he carries about 5-6 times a game.
Everybody knows JR for his arm. We were down there watching him warm up, and he throws about the tightest, nicest spiral I've seen in a high school quarterback. Yep. And, of course, as a sophomore last year, he threw for over 2,000 yards. Already has all the school records with the Flyers.
Yep.
3rd and 8. The ball on the 15.
He just drops right back this time, and
Reddig looking for Walters, and that's going to be knocked away. And, Rick, who was it that knocked that ball away?
Pass was intended for Todd Walters, and it was almost picked off.
Yeah, Logan Avalos would have had reservations for 6 there. Clear sailing to the end zone. And so both defenses stiffen here early, and it's going to bring up a punting situation. And Jared's younger brother, Jacob Redding, is going to be back to punt the ball away.
Michael Flipsy back to receive for Eastwood. Nice tight spiral on the punt, too. Across the 40, inside the 40, going to roll dead at the 39-yard line, and that is where Eastwood Eagles are going to take over.
Nice flyer roll on that punt there. 6:18 mark here in the first quarter from Freedom Field. It is 0-0 with the Eastwood Eagles hosting the Lake Flyers. The ball's going to be parked on the 39-yard line.
The thing is, I can't 100% check it. Okay, go ahead and try talking now.
We're going to have Jake Schmeltz and company bringing the Eastwood offense back out. And Schmeltz, a huge name, Rick, as you know, around these Eastwood parts and Eastwood athletic circles for years.
One of their big tight ends, defensive ends from a few years ago, is handoff goes nowhere.
Yeah, that was Snowden. And at first, Rick, it looked like he was going to. It looked like he was ready to heave the ball. It almost looked like a trick play. Either that or he had, it's been rainy all day, a little bit wet. Maybe he had a bad handle. But when Drew and I were down there earlier, the field seemed in good condition. Nobody seemed to have trouble holding on to it. So, nonetheless, that goes for no gain.
Notice Coach Rutherford has changed from his pregame cargo shorts into full-length khakis.
As you would call those, big boy pants.
Big boy pants, that's right. 2nd and 10 again from the 39.
And Snowden, their workhorse, again, he tries to go up the gut, and he goes absolutely nowhere. And I think that was Nick Walsh there, the all-NBC linebacker on the tackle.
This is our first look at Eastwood this season, Jeff, and it seems that Schmeltz, the quarterback, confers with the head coach at the sidelines on every. He doesn't just wait for a hand signal or some other gesture. They got a play sheet that they look at. 3rd and 10 from the 39. 5 minutes left in a scoreless first quarter. Double reverse. It was a nice driving run there. That was Brennan Seifert again.
Yeah, Seifert's not going to have enough. That's going to bring up 4th and 3. He got 7 of the yards, but it's going to bring up another punting situation for the Eastwood Eagles. And their punter, Rick, it was just phenomenal. Last year he was an all-NBC punter, first-teamer. So it kind of reminds you of the Pickard brothers over at Genoa. You know, you have all these in this. We're lucky in the NBC to see all these talented kickers. Drifting deep for Lake, we're going to have Adam Duncan and the quarterback Jared Redding to receive this punt.
Duncan's just going to let it go over his head and out of bounds on about the 20. Other than that explosive kickoff return to begin the game, this has been down in the trenches for the last 8 minutes, 7.5, 8 minutes.
Yeah, and we talked about that in our pregame. We talked about how it was a tale between two offenses. You come in with Lake, and it's a high-powered spread offense. They like to spread other teams out. Redding works out of the shotgun entirely. They have over 200 points of offense this year, 233. And then you come in with Eastwood, and they're more of a traditional wing T, grinded-out team.
Yep. Jared Reddick has thrown already in 5 games for 975 yards, 14 touchdowns. Schmeltz, on the other hand, a much more ground-oriented offense. He's thrown for 343 and 6 touchdowns. So, but the 2 leading receivers in the league, as you might imagine, Todd Walters and Adam Duncan for Lake.
Just got an update from the Toledo Sports Network out-of-town scoreboard. Back in Genoa at Comet Stadium, it's 6-0 Comets, who ran the opening kickoff back on the Fostoria Redmond. So the Comets are leading 6-0 in Genoa. And, of course, next week, Rick, these Lake Flyers will host the Genoa Comets, and what could be, if the Flyers survive tonight, if they survive this Eastwood test, it could be for all the marbles in the NBC.
Yeah. And, again, it'll be similar offensive matchup that this game is. Redding now in the shotgun. Hands off over right
Brandon
tackle.
Short.
Yep.
And Brandon Short, Rick, is one of those running backs who likes to power it up. You know, you talk about Lake having that spread attack, but they also have a 3-headed monster in the backfield. And the 2 big ones are Brandon Short and Marcel Bryan.
And Short is a sophomore.
Yeah, and Bryan's more your home run hitter, and Brandon Short likes to, like I said, he likes to take the ball up between the tackles.
This time handoff to Marcel Bryan. And for little or no gain, it's going to be 3rd and a short 5, long 4.
Toledo Sports Network out-of-town scoreboard lighting up here now, 13-0 Genoa from Comet Stadium. So Genoa all over the Fostoria Redmond at the 8:59 mark of the first quarter. I want to give a shout-out to our person over in Genoa, Lee Nissen, good friend of yours and mine, supplying us with the scores.
Jared Redding had some pressure that time, had a pass intended for somebody on the second page of the roster. Joel Densing.
Yeah, that was a nice touch pass by Jared. He had to put it over the top of the defender's hands, but just a little bit too high for Densing to haul in. So, and we're in a punting situation again. Jacob Redding's going to come in and boot the ball away.
Michael Phillips again, or Flipsy, back to receive. Line of scrimmage of 44. He gets off a nice kick. Received by Flipsy at the 15-yard line. And nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And
Coach Amon has got to be a little bit happier about that coverage that time.
Yeah.
I see the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, Drew Vogapool, down on the sidelines. He's mic'd up tonight. Got headphones on. He's going to be our sideline reporter. We'll be anxiously awaiting a report from him on what's going on down there. Any injuries, any weather situations. Drew, wave if you can see us. Yeah, there he is. Gotcha. Again, at the 2:54 mark here from Freedom Field, it's 0-0. Eastwood with the ball. Jake Schmeltz with a bubble screen out to the wide receiver. And Lake, Rick, does not fall for it. It goes nowhere. Again, Nick Walsh leading the charge for the defense. So what you see so far, Rick, I mean, I know we're just ticking down the first quarter here. What do you think of how are these two teams evenly matched? Are they feeling each other out?
I hate to use the cliche, but they are kind of, it's like the first couple of rounds of a boxing match. And I'd look for the Lake offense to eventually prevail as the handoff was to Brendan Seifert.
Yeah, it was Brendan Seifert. You're right. That was a 5 on the jersey, and Seifert found a little bit of room there.
Third and 2 on the 32.
About 2 minutes left here in the first quarter. And again, it's very interesting, Rick. You know, you mentioned it earlier how Schmeltz does come to the sideline every time to get that call from Jerry Rutherford, where most of these high school offenses, you see them get the call in from the sidelines like the college teams do, where everybody kind of stands up and looks over to the sideline. But Jerry Rutherford kicking it old school here at Freedom Field.
Snowden was the ball carrier and picked up the first down. Picked up about 4. Out to the 36-yard line. First and 10 on the Eagles' own 36. $1:15 to go in the first quarter. Schmeltz fakes as a play action. Wasn't that well executed. He ends up getting the pass over to Brendan Seifert.
He did a lot of running to hardly, he kind of east and west there instead of north and south. But again, you got to credit the Lake defense Lake defense had a full house and they brought it. And just as Schmeltz got it off, he got tagged.
The newly rejuvenated Cleveland Browns had a 79-yard punt return for a touchdown last night. And he did as much east and west as he did north and south. They calculated he ran 116 yards to cover the 79. That's the first place in the AFC North. Sprites. Snowden again, the ball carrier.
And if you're listening there, folks, you can hear the bandwagon rolling through the press box here at Freedom Field. Yeah, we'll stay off the pro conversation here, partner.
Okay, yeah, sure. Start flashing those 6 rings that the black and gold have. We got to pick our spots.
And I don't think they're going to get another playoff. The first quarter is going to expire with the score 0-0. Eastwood the Eastwood Eagles hosting the Lake Flyers here at Freedom Field.
Pub 51 is just a great neighborhood bar and grill. They're about as close to being all things to all people as I've seen. They have a miniature bowling league, and they take that pretty darn seriously. Oh, and a dartball league, and a cornhole league, and a pool league. They have a lot of leagues. Pub 51 has a big outdoor patio, too. Well, their pizza and food are reasonably priced, too. Give Pub 51 a try. They're on Woodville Road, just a half-mile east of the Woodville Mall.
Whether you support the Comets, the Panthers, or the Bulldogs, the Eagles, Wildcats, or Flyers, we at Genoa Bank support you. We're a local bank that takes pride in serving our community with personal and prompt service, innovative products, and stable financial guidance. We're a bank that believes in playing our part, and well, that's earned us quite a few fans of our own. Genoa Bank, playing our part in the community, taking your banking needs personally.
Graymont in Genoa, producers of Doclamide Lime and Hydrate, serving the community for over 90 years. The plant currently has 60 employees. The safety and development of these employees is a focus for your plant. Over 80% of our employees currently live within 11 miles of the plant. Graymont. For more information about this company, you can check us out on the web at www.graymont.com.
On the job for you for over 100 years. You need a career. You need a future. Local 8 can help you make it happen. Join the men and women who build our community. Become a part of a proud tradition. Build your career. Build your future with the brothers and sisters of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 8. We're on the job for you.
We're on the job for you. We're the local IBEW.
First Federal Bank is a proud sponsor of high school football in Northwest Ohio.
Freedom Field near Pemberville, Ohio. I'm Rick Waldron. He's Jeff Norwalk. Toledo Sports Network bringing you a wonderful high school competition. Couple of Wood County rivals. Schmeltz the ball carrier.
And he's going to move the chains, R-Dub. It's going to be 1st and 10, ball at the 47-yard line.
You know, I noticed, Jeff, there are only 4 officials here tonight instead of 5. Aren't there usually 5 at a high school football game?
You are Mr. Minutia.
Yeah.
Seifert's going to take the carry. It's going to find a little room. It looks like a gain maybe of about 6.
Got through the offensive or through the defensive line of Lake and made the secondary get defensive there.
Of course, Lake runs that classic 4-3 defense, which means for those of you who don't know football speak, 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and then, of course, you have your defensive backs.
The Swagger boys.
Devin
I'm sure Snowden tackled somebody, but when I looked up at the pile, there was no pile. It was just him laying flat on his face.
Yeah, Devin Snowden plunges forward.
And we have a timeout, officials timeout
They're
on the
going to
field.
bring the big orange sticks out and measure. Of course, from up here, it looks like it's a first down, but what do we know? We're just the guys with the microphones.
Well, I know, but I've been working on this. I think it's about a 2 links of the chain. Yeah, I'm just about there.
Short by a nose.
Yep, or 2 links of the chain.
Official scoreboard measurement says 3rd and 1 from the 43. We're at the 11:03 mark here at Freedom Field. 0-0 your score. We're glad you're with us. This is the Toledo Sports Network. He's Rick Waldron. I'm Jeff Norwalk. Our man down on the sidelines, Andrew Vogelpool, affectionately called Twig, trying to get mic'd up.
Yeah, he's got a cameraman following him, so we'll see his wonderful mug here before long. Schmeltz up under center now. That single wing had a man in motion, and something wasn't being executed properly. One more like that, maybe the quarterback will be executed. I don't know. We've had a chance over the years. I know you've interviewed Jerry as well, Jerry Rutherford, and just the whole Eastwood operation, just a bunch of gentlemen over here. And,
of course, Jerry is the elder statesman of the SLL and the NBC. We talked about it earlier, 32 years coaching, and what did we say, 8 titles?
Yeah.
So they know how to play football here in Pemberville. That's definitely for sure.
Also, the next time we get a break, there's another illustrious coach here at Eastwood from the late 60s to the late 70s. And we'll talk about him in a little bit here as well. Okay. Schmeltz back up under center. This time he has quarterback sneak off left tackle. And he picks up the first down. Referring to Genoa grad and BGSU alum Fred Coaster. Fred was here, I think it was from 68 to 78. Had a perfect 10-0 season, won 3 or 4. I don't know what that would have been back then. Maybe the Northern Lakes League. But Fred was a lineman on Doit Perry's 1959 national championship at BGSU. handoff coming out of the backfield to Brendan Seifert. And he stopped maybe for a loss of a yard, but we're looking at 2nd and 10 minutes to go.
Tackle made by Colin Lloyd, who just penetrated into the backfield, reached the arm off the shoestring tackle, and you call that, I mean, that's almost like a nice open field tackle. So nice tackle by Colin Lloyd to stop. Seifert had some room there.
He may have slipped on the turf.
A little bit of trickery there, going deep. Schmeltz, he's got a man wide open, Rick, and that's going to be 6 points for the Eagles. Touchdown, 40-yard touchdown pass.
Pass was caught by Michael Flipsy. 9 minutes and 36 seconds to go in the half, and a 40-yard little razzle-dazzle. It was a handoff to Brennan Seifert up the middle. He got the line of scrimmage, turned around, pitched it back to Schmelzer, who then hit a wide open Michael Flipsy for the score.
And that was beautifully executed.
Yep.
You want to say that the Lake defensive backs totally bid on that because Flipsy was wide open.
Yeah, nobody within 10 yards. And Lucas McCullough puts it through. 9:36 to go in the first half. And Eastwood, the homestanding Eastwood Eagles, lead Lake 7 Rock.
The Union Plumbers, Steam Fitters, and HVACR service mechanics of UA Local 50 build the powerhouses that generate your electricity. Install and service your heating and air conditioning systems, and install the plumbing systems that protect the health of this nation. Everywhere there's a building being built, retrofitted, or maintained, members of UA Local 50 are on the job with skills and the latest sustainable building practices. To do the job right, UA Local 50 Plumbers, Steam Fitters, and service mechanics, building America's future.
Lush custom leather interior. Get tinted windows as low as $69. Tas installs rear view cameras that put backup worries behind you. Tas gives you the best sounds at the best prices with systems for all vehicles, including motorcycles, boats, RVs. With Tas, you'll look good and sound great.
Tas Electronics. Feel the power. Tas Electronics. It's hot.
Okay, we're lining up for the kickoff, following that spectacular scoring play, Jeffrey.
And right here, Rick, you want to say that this is where it's going to show what Lake's made of. How they have not been down this year too much. I don't know if they've been down at all. And right now they're going to, I mean, it's only 7 points, but you're coming back from adversity on the opposing field. So we'll see what Lake is made of. It's going to be taken by Adam Duncan at about the 2-yard line. And this kid can fly if he gets some space. He runs a 4.6. I believe he's going to get up right to about maybe just beyond the 20, so it's as good as a touchback.
Exactly. Lucas McCullough with his fancy Dayglow yellow kicking shoes on, too.
As you look over in the student section for Eastwood, everybody wearing their pink tonight. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yep. And I imagine it was the student council had the fundraiser down behind the home stands here. You could take a swing at a old car with a sledgehammer to raise money.
Traditional homecoming festivity.
Yep.
I see some pink cleats on the Eastwood sidelines as well. We're at about the 9-minute mark here from Freedom Field, and after that 40-yard flea flicker razzle-dazzle strike from the Eagles, it's 7-0 Eastwood over the visiting Lake Flyers, who are looking at 2nd and 11 from their own 22-yard line.
Jared Reddick back in the shotgun again. 3 receivers split wide to the right. He's looking for one of them. They're covered. He's got to go back to the left. He got chased out of the pocket, but he threw it away, but it might be roughing the passer. I was following the pass. Referee seems, he's consulting with Jared on what they want to do. Well, now there's 5 officials out there. This one guy just kind of ambling up. Maybe maybe thought it was
getting a brat from the booster bar.
Yeah.
Maybe they did smell pretty good when we were down there.
Oh, that's right. Drew's supposed to get me 2 with mustard.
I'll take ketchup on mine, Drew. You got the connections down there in the booster barn.
Can't hear him.
Intentional grounding. So it's going to be intentional grounding on Jared Redding.
Oh,
it's
it
going to be
was.
declined.
And that's loss of down. Yep. Well, I don't know. He was out of the pocket.
And nonetheless, the zebra saw, and that's going to march Lake back further. And after that Eastwood touchdown strike there, this penalty here could loom pretty large for Lake. Third and 22 coming up for Lake after they break the huddle. Ball on the 11-yard line. We're at the 8:42 mark here on the Toledo Sports Network. 7-0 Eastwood over the Lake Flyers.
Lake in a big hole here on their own 11-yard line, but if there's this is the kind of offense that can get you out of that hole in a hurry. Little razzle-dazzle there.
Yeah, just going conservative there.
Fakes Brandon Short around the left end. And would they pick up 4?
Yeah, Jacob Redding's going to get ready to come out and boot it again, just trying to get Jacob a little more room to punt the ball away, going conservative there. You don't want to do anything to make any mistakes, throw an interception. That snap's kind of high. Oh, and it's going to be kind of a shaky punt.
And it's going to roll dead on the Lake 38-yard line. Coach Mark Eamons making a long list of things to talk about at the film session tomorrow morning.
Yeah, downed by Colin Lloyd there. And again, Eastwood's going to come out in good shape, working on the Lake side of the field. And if I'm Coach Rutherford here, Rick, and I'm not, but if I am, I'm going to go for another shot deep right here and put the Flyers down even in a bigger hole.
Yep, there he goes. Same. Oh, just over the outstretched hands there.
Well, I guess Coach Rutherford and I were thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I was going to say that's an old Bart Starr call.
He was looking for Michael Flipsy again, the young man who caught the touchdown pass just moments ago. But nonetheless, at the 7:55 mark here at Freedom Field, the score remains 7-0 Eastwood. It's going to be 2nd and 10 at the Lake 38-yard line. We're in the second quarter. Toledo Sports Network, you're with Rick Waldron, Andrew Vogelpool, and Jeff Norwalk. We're glad you're with us here tonight. Really a beautiful night for football.
They've been cliches, really. Round right end was Grant Gieser.
Oh, and that you're
a lot of bodies on the ground, including some of the chain gang on the other side of the field.
Looked like at least 8 of the personnel on the Lake defense escorted Seaford out of bounds. And from here, it almost looked like it was late, but, we don't quite have the vantage point that they have on the field,
right.
So must have been a clean hit. 3rd and 6, ball to 34.
.7:27 on a turning clock here. Second quarter, Eastwood leads 7-0. And handoff up the middle to Snowden went nowhere.
Brandon Short leading the host of Flyers who stuffed that running play, and that's going to bring up 4th and 8. So I guess we're going to see what they do here, R-Dub. Schmeltz coming back onto the field, so it looks like the 4th and 7. They're going to go ahead and give it a whirl. It looks like.
Let's see, 36-40. Yeah, it'd be about a 53-yard field goal attempt. So
Nobody named Pickard out on the field.
No. And Jerry Rutherford wants another timeout. 6:35 to go in the first half.
Well, we have a chance here. We want to tell you in about 2 weeks' time, we're going to be launching our Underdogs Radio Talk Show. We'll get back with you. Stay tuned on the Facebook page. We like to call it our online sports magazine.
Exactly.
Come check us out. Hit like about 1 million times. Be a fan of Underdogs Radio. We'll be launching what do you think, about an hour or 2 hour sports talk show once a week?
Yep. Well, it's our station, our program, so if we want to go 3 hours, we can.
And we'll cover a little bit of everything from high school sports to collegiate to pro to our fantasy guru down there.
Yep.
Twig the Fantasy Pup will be talking all about fantasy football. Personally, ladies and gentlemen, I hate it.
Well, I'm glad you kept that to yourself.
Just can't find the time to sit down and change the rosters out and see who has to buy and see who's injured. I wish I liked it.
Well, you, besides writing for Underdogs Radio and broadcasting here at Toledo Sports Network, you're writing for like 3 other newspapers.
And taking care of a 4-year-old daughter and coaching soccer.
Yep.
A little bit busy.
Okay, we got this sorted out now. See what Rutherford put in. He's got Schmelz rolling to the left. Completes the pass to Snowden across the 30. Ooh, he stayed in bounds almost down to the 20-yard line before
Marcel Bryan rudely escorts him out of bounds. Snowden's a good little weapon for Eastwood. They're going to have to account for him all night long.
You know, we're talking about Underdogs Radio on the radio. You'll be able to listen to us just the way you are right now on Toledo Sports Network. And Mike Jameson, the major domo of the whole shooting match.
Got to give a shout-out to our game night crew here. Dave in charge of everything. He's the Wizard of Oz, the man in the trailer.
Yep.
Getting everything going every Friday night.
Steve's on one camera.
Cameron's the other camera.
That's right,
operator.
Cameron. Yep.
And Dave always down with all the student interns.
Yep.
Kyle's on replay.
Great crew.
Score remains the same from Comet Stadium, 13-6. Comets, well, actually 6 point. I don't know. Fostoria Redmond have got on the scoreboard, so it is 13-6 now.
All right, leave it there. It's just dark in that corner. I remember now. I'm sorry.
Hand off to around the right side to Grant Gieser.
Yeah, it looked like Seifert.
Or Seifert out. No. I thought it was number 4. Okay.
Best shot of grass I've ever seen.
Yeah, you're right, Rick. That is Grant Geiser on the carry there. Maybe I need bifocals. Wow. We need a spotter up with some binoculars.
You know what we are missing, though? We're missing our electrical engineer, Lynn Schliebert from Brooksville,
he could come
Florida.
up here with binoculars and be our... Clock continues to turn, approaching the 4.5-minute mark. 7-0 from Freedom Field. Eastwood over the Lake Flyers. Looking at a 3rd and 10 from the Flyer 22.
Schmelzer looks for Flipsy down the left sideline at the goal line. And it's another touchdown, 22 yards. Schmelzer to Flipsy. And we're kind of getting an offensive... a lake-like offensive display from the Eastwood Elite.
And that's a good point, Rick. I think Eastwood's coming out and they're between the 20s, they're almost running that methodical, grinded-out Eastwood offense like you'd expect. And when they get down there knocking on the door, they kind of bring out that passing attack. That's 2 touchdown passes to Flipsy from Schmelz, and that was a beautiful touch pass there to take it in for 6.
You know, I've said it before, too. Schmelzer was rolling to his left. That's the hardest pass to throw for a right-handed quarterback. He's got to throw back across his body, and like you said, perfect touch pass.
Hope you're enjoying the game today. Hi, I'm Mike Jamison, president of ToledoSportsNetwork.com. Now, Channel 13 and the wonderful people here are bringing some great games to you each and every week. And we'd love to make your company part of what we're putting together here. We've got the reach and we've got the ability to get you out at a reasonable cost so that all of these wonderful people can talk about your business, whether it's on the internet, on live television, or live internet. You can give us a call at 419-514-1302. Let us spotlight what you have here with all of our unbelievable packages that we have. And we make it very cost effective for even the smallest business. Creative Video Imagery and the Toledo Sports Network is proud to bring you this game right here on 13.2, the Live Well Network.
Oh, yeah.
Still 4.5 in the first half, and it's definitely a tale of two halves. But Jared Reddick and the boys are going to have to get things going there.
Little trickeration there. Instead of McCullough at the taking the kickoff, Joey Salinas came in from the other side, kicked it left-footed, and
Drayton Williams received it for the Flyers.
I've been wanting to say trickeration all season. I'm glad
you're seeing a little bit of trickeration here tonight.
Yeah.
And Jared Reddick, that high-powered spread offense of Mark Amons and the Lake Flyers, going to have to reach into the trick bag and get something going here real soon.
1st and 10, Lake on their own 28-yard line. They trail 14-zip. Out in the right flat, nice pass, caught.
Nick Walsh, the senior.
Yep. Now you've interviewed Nick Walsh, haven't you?
Great kid. Really, Rick, I for the press this week, I did a feature on Adam Duncan and Todd Walters, the two leading receivers in the Northern Buckeye Conference, and the two starters for Lake, and really everybody over there at Flyer Nation. Just a bunch of great kids. Nick Walsh that time snared that pass in a little hitch pattern.
This time handoff to Brandon Short. And I don't know if he was enough to get a first down. Earlier this year, too, we both had the opportunity to be part of a series of articles on Title IX, the legislation that's, 30 years old, I think, and gave women equality in high school and college sports. We'll talk about that in a minute. 3:40 to go. 1st and 10, Lake on their own 40. Reddick being chased out of the pocket. Now he's way out of the pocket, brought down by his doppelganger, number 5, Brennan Seifert.
Had a little bit of escapability there for a minute, but just couldn't find an open receiver. You had Adam Duncan, the sophomore speedster, streaking down the right sideline here, but give the Eastwood backfield credit. Great coverage. Nowhere to go for Jared Reddick. And I think Lake's best option here, Rick, is to slow it down, take a breath, get a nice long sustained drive, and try to put some points on the board going into the half. Duncan on a slant. He gets taken down by a host of Eastwood Eagles. He's going to be close to the mark. What was that? Nancy Sinatra just walked into the press box?
I think so, yeah. You don't always see boots this time of year.
But we digress. Adam Duncan's play goes for 9 yards. He's going to bring up 3rd and 1 from the 49. Lake getting ready to cross over into Eastwood territory.
Big rush.
Reddick with the spin move. He's going to have enough for the first.
Jared Reddick, not the biggest player on the field either.
Well, what's a 6'1", 180 pounds?
That's with a rock in his pocket, right?
Toledo Sports Network's out-of-town scoreboard now says 20-6, over the Fostoria Redmond. So props to Lee Nissen for keeping us updated on the goings-on over on Genoa Clay Center Road.
1st and 10. Oh! Pass intended for Adam Duncan.
Adam Duncan was looking to take that one to the house before he reeled it in.
Yeah.
Usually a sure-handed wide receiver.
Hit him right in the numbers, too. Yep.
Very, very gifted wide out.
I imagine he said, "Oh, drat," to himself.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. Lake.
Reddick in the shotgun. Fakes the play action. Adam Duncan again, the intended receiver. Pass was thrown a little low.
Yeah, that
but
one was
still,
in the turf.
It was catchable. In case you missed the final score last night, it was Cleveland Browns 37 and the Buffalo Bills 24.
Somebody may have to send paramedics up here to the press box here sometime tonight, because I don't think Rick's going to walk out of here. He keeps talking about the Cleveland Browns.
Reddick drops back. Oh, they had him in the pocket, but this time he does hit Duncan over on the left side, the far sidelines. Gets inside the right about the 40-yard line, maybe the 39.
And on that play, Rick, you saw Jared Reddick shake off. He's been getting pressured all night. Eastwood's been sending blitzers, and he shook it off, and he found Duncan almost on a drag pattern over the middle, who gets the ball right at the sticks. And it's going to be a first down.
Lake has 1:43 to cover about 37, 38 yards. So this is the kind of offense that can do just that. Todd Wallace split out wide to the right, and Duncan wide to the left. Reddick takes the snap in the gun. This time he's chased out of the pocket again. Heads for the sticks, and they don't signal he got out of bounds. Now they do. But I don't think he got much, if anything.
And again, give that Eastwood defensive backfield credit. They had those receivers covered downfield. Reddick nowhere to go. He had to scramble out of the pocket under pressure and try to make something out of nothing. I think maybe he got, 1 yard on that?
Yeah, they're still trying to put either the chains or the chain gang back together over there. I think we have a casualty over there.
The sideline's been pretty busy tonight with the hits.
And now we have an official's timeout. I can't tell if they're tending to the, I guess it is the chain itself. There, it's have a round of applause for the yards marker that got up, walked off the field under its own power. Be sure and check out Underdogs Radio on Facebook. Our videographer, Drew Vogopol, will have game highlights up this weekend. This time Reddick's chased out of the pocket, carries up across the middle, picks up about 5 yards, brought down at about the 35-yard line. Eastwood takes a timeout.
And we got another update from G-Town. Kind of a surprise, Rick. 20-12, the Comet lead trimmed to 8 points. 8:23 till the half, and Comets have a freshman playing. Not sure who the freshman is. So Coach Spiess, maybe a little bit nervous over in Genoa.
It just as a presumption with the score being 20-12. Sounds like Fostoria has tried to go for 2 a couple times. Or the Comets just been blocking the PAT. I don't know.
Fostoria coming into that game have to be real big dogs coming into that football game.
Yep. Bit of a surprise here at Eastwood. Eastwood leads 14-0. Eastwood was one of the first, if not the first, school districts to consolidate. Consolidation of the former Pemberville, Troy Township, and Lucky school districts back in the late 60s. Okay, Lake back out there. 3rd and 5 on the Eastwood 34. Schmelzer rolling right, and he's going to be brought down.
Yeah, Reddick nowhere to go. Again, Rick, it took way too much time. And again, you got to give that Eastwood defensive backfield a lot of credit. We see here on the instant replay, Reddick rolling right, looking downfield. Nowhere to go. He's got Eastwood defenders diving all over and suddenly taken down by a host of Eagles. And again, those kind of that you have to call it a coverage sack because there's nowhere to go downfield.
Yep.
Reddick trying to make something happen and just couldn't find anybody.
Just looking at comparative scores, I'd say that Eastwood has done an excellent job scouting Lake and that high-powered offense. What are their Lake's average score?
Lake thus far this year has got 233 points in all. If I can pull up our notes here, let's see, 21-0 in week 1 over Fremont St. Joe Crimson Streaks, which was a tough team, and then for the Battle of Lemoyne Road, 56-20 over Northwood, a top powerhouse, 38-0 over NBC rival Otsego, 55-6 over Ottawa Hills, and then just last week, 63-34 over the Woodmore Wildcats, who are kind of an up-and-comer in the NBC. So Lake's certainly no stranger to putting points up on the board, but they're struggling tonight.
4th and 10, they're going for it. Pass is low out in the flat. Pass intended for Jake Greenlease.
Yeah, Zach Greenlease, one of those platoon wide receivers who comes in a few series every game for Adam Duncan and Todd Walters. Both Walters and Adam Duncan had good things to say about Greenlease and Colin Lloyd, two of the 3rd and 4th receivers. But that ball again from Jared Reddick just a little bit low, very uncharacteristic for the second team All-NBC quarterback.
Eastwood's going to take the ball on their own 39-yard line. 51 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, Rick, still a lot of time to put some more points on the board.
Yep.
Yep, but then we're going to kneel down. So obviously, Jerry Rutherford not thinking what we were thinking that time. Content to go in at the half.
A little bit old school in Coach Jerry.
Another score in from Genoa. Now 27-12, the Comets over the Fostoria Redmond. 7:52 till the half.
They must, Genoa must be using Gene the scoring machine over there, huh? And again, Schmelzer's going to kneel down. 15 seconds. That's gonna be it for the first half here at Freedom Field. The Eastwood Eagles at home, rocking the Lake Flyers 14-0. at Freedom Field. Eastwood about to start the second half by kicking off too late. Eastwood leads 14-0. Once again, they do the little crisscross kick. Molinari signals for the fair catch. No, it wasn't, though, was it?
Drayton Williams.
The Drayton Williams actually signaled for the fair catch. The kick was from Joey Salinas.
Sophomore tight end. Not quite sure.
Yep.
Obviously, he's not one of the young men that they want returning kicks, but not quite sure why the fair catch there. But nonetheless, that's going to set Jared Reddick and the Lake Spread offense up at the 28-yard line, trailing 14-0 here to start the second half at Freedom Field.
Duncan out to the left, and Todd Walters here on the right side of the field. Reddick again gets pressure, chased out of the pocket. Just going to do the gentlemanly thing and step out of bounds after about a 2 or 3 yard gain.
Absolutely nowhere to go, Rick. And you have to give Tyler Scott, the big offensive lineman, he's looks like he's a junior. He delivered a big crushing hit on the Eastwood blitzer, or that could have turned into a loss. Once again, Jared Reddick running for his life, but he gets 2 yards out of it, and that'll bring up 2nd and 8.
Lake started on their 28, not their 38. And
Brandon Short with nowhere to go.
Tries to go around left end. I don't think he gained a yard. We're looking at 3rd and a long 8. That would be 3rd and 9 because they're on the 29-yard line.
A loss of a yard on that. Give the Eastwood defense credit. They're very laterally quick defense. Led by Geyser there.
Shout out to the Eastwood Wrestling Club for shipping a couple brats up here for us. Reddick takes the snap. Stays in the pocket. Still looking for a receiver.
Directing traffic, shaking people off, and again taken down, so nowhere to go. And Rick, not the way that the Lake offense wants to start the second half. You want to come in and have a sustained drive, put some points on the board, but
3 and out. They gained 2 yards.
3 and out, right on. They're going to have to punt the ball away from their 30-yard line. And you can see again on the instant replay, nowhere to go. Jared Reddick shakes off one tackler, and then he's forced out of bounds by a host of Eastwood Eagles. That's a kind of a wonky snap there, but Jacob Reddick gets the punt off.
It bites and spins back like a Phil Mickelson chip shot. Eastwood's going to take over on their own 47-yard line.
Chris Allen, a junior
48.
offensive lineman, will down that at the 48. So 2 yards away from being on the Lake side of the field. And Schmelze will come back out.
Eastwood enrollment down a little bit this year. They've been they're down a class size in OHSAA division classifications. And handoff around left end. Came up across the into Lake territory, chased out of bounds about the 45-yard line.
Yeah, Marcel Bryan chases Devin Snowden, who found, definitely, you can see he found the edge there. Marcel Bryan with good closing speed knocks Snowden out of bounds and almost into the bench there. But good clean hit. And that'll bring up 2nd and 4, like you said, for the Eagles. So once again, the Eagles on the march. And Rick, you get that feeling that the Lake Flyers cannot afford to fall down by another score here because their offense tonight just looks totally out of sync. Oops, Snowden again on the carry. Tries to find a few over the left guard. I don't think he got what he was looking for. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2, but yeah, that gain of 1 to bring up 3rd and 3.
Yep, I've noticed too that Eastwood when they are punt receiving, that Jake Schmelz is back there to to receive the punts as well. So smaller roster. They've only got 40, 41 guys in uniform tonight. A lot of these guys do double and triple duty. Handoff around the right end. Brennan Seifert.
And what they did there, that was very, right there, Rick, to get those sticks moving, very patient running from Seifert.
They picked their spots.
Yeah, he kind of took it on a little bit of a sweep and then saw a hole that he liked, and he squirted up through the middle for a first down. So once again, a new set of 4 downs for the Eastwood Eagles, slowly and methodically marching down to that red zone.
And they've got the kind of offense that'll take time off the clock, too.
It definitely takes the air out of the football. You're definitely correct there.
Schmeltz handoff to Snowden, stopped at the line of scrimmage.
What's the score? 2nd and 13? 2nd and 10.
No gain on that one. 8:57 mark here, the third, 14-0. Eastwood up on Lake. And Rick, kind of a surprise to you here tonight? We thought that it would be a little bit more contested, but like we said, Lake kind of looks a little bit out of sync here tonight.
Flat, yep.
Schmeltz working out of the gun this time. He's got a receiver left, a receiver right. Fakes the handoff to Snowden, then goes over the middle. Oh! And he just can't hang on to it.
Brennan Seifert in a vulnerable spot there, right between the numbers, between the fingers.
That pass may have been just a little bit thrown behind him, but at the same time, the coaches always say, it's the old adage, if it hits your hands, if it hits you in the numbers, you should catch it.
Amen.
You want to say maybe, too, he heard Jared Reddig playing safety out there, the footsteps coming. Nobody likes to take the lick there coming over the middle.
Woody Hayes always liked to say, too, there's 3 things happen when you throw the ball. 2 of them are bad. 3rd and 10 for Schmeltz and company. Fakes a play action. And he had his favorite receiver there, Flipsy.
Good coverage there by Adam Duncan that time. Out there playing the...
Actually, I think Flipsy, I don't know if you'll see it on the replay. He I won't say he gave, well, he kind of gave up on it. He kind of let up a little bit. Notice down here in front of us, too, the 2 Eastwood place kickers, Lucas McCullum, Joey Salinas, working on the practice tee, kicking into the net.
So thanks to good coverage that time from Adam Duncan on the left corner. Lake dodges a bullet. Oh, bad snap. And that one's going to be blocked.
Punt was blocked by Colin Lloyd. And
Drayton Williams again on the special teams play is going to down that ball after it was blocked. Bad snap, though, that time, Rick, kind of into the turf a little bit. He tried to pick it up and get it away, but the Lake...
I was watching for him, too, to inadvertently... He didn't, because he's a smart football player, but he inadvertently go down on one knee to field the ball. You know, like an infielder might do that. Well, you do that fielding a snap, and you're down right there, which he didn't do.
So Lake back in business at the 40-yard line. Then Reddick drops back, rolls left, looking for a receiver. He's going to little quick hitter out Nick Walsh, and Walsh can't reel it in. And again,
Walsh did the smart thing as a receiver, because I was watching the whole defensive secondary, and they're all covered. And Walsh had the presence of mind to head back towards the ball.
Yeah, always a smart thing. You have to know, like you're saying, as a receiver, you have to be savvy enough to know when the play breaks down and your quarterback's running for his life, it's time to improvise.
Yeah.
Come back to the quarterback. But still, that Lake offense just looking out of sync.
Duncan now on the right. Todd Walters left, and handoff off center, upside Marcel Bryant.
Marcel Bryant trying to find a hole there on this, as our instant replay shows. but filled up quickly by a host of Eagles. So it's going to be a gain of 2, and again, Reddick and company looking at a 3rd and long. Ball on the 42-yard line, and we're ticking down to
3rd and 8.
Close to the halfway point here, the 3rd, and it's time to get something going for the Flyers.
Reddick, almost intercepted by Grant Geiser.
Looking for Adam Duncan there, and that time Reddick, lots of time, great protection, but that time Reddick almost threw into what was, I don't know, he looked, too many red jerseys around Adam Duncan. The guys are almost skies up and picks that one off.
We played 4.5 minutes now, the 3rd quarter. No score in the second half. Eastwood still leads 14-0. And once again, this is game, the second half anyway, being played between the 20s. Nice punt off there.
There you go. Very good.
Realizing discretion is the better part of valor. Michael Flipsy just lets it roll dead.
It takes a good lake
roll. About the 20-yard line.
Do your guys' fonts at school move? Do your fonts at school move, or are they just stationary pictures? Just kind of dissolve them in and out. So, you can animate ours. It's an expensive system. Especially since they started chewing out.
Eastwood going to take over on their own 29-yard line.
Tyler, hold that shot. You're live.
I have to say, they're in the driver's seat right now. I think they have an Eastwood fumble. I think Eastwood got the ball back.
Now you could tell by the senior Lake linebacker, Nick Walsh's reaction to that one. Yeah, I think it was a helmet. The helmet that knocked the ball out there, and it was Nick Walsh who put the helmet on the ball carrier, and the Lake players just can't get to the football in time, so an opportunity squandered there.
Yep. Speaking of Eastwood being in the driver's seat, they have a clock-favorable, grinded-out offense that if they can take 3-4 minutes off the ball with every possession, it's time Snowden.
Let's do that replay.
Yeah, nowhere to go that time for Snowden again, as we see on the instant replay, being very patient there, then brought down by Todd Walters, who wasn't fooled on that play. So that'll bring up 3rd and 5, so about 3rd and medium for the Eastwood Eagles. And we're at the 6-minute mark here from Freedom Field in the 3rd quarter. 14-0 Eastwood all over the Lake Flyers. Of course, Lake coming in 5-0, 2-0 in the NBC, and 3-2 for the Eagles, and 1-1 in the NBC. This time Schmeltz is going to work out of the gun.
Completes a pass to Grant Peters. I didn't bring the Ohio High School computer rankings with me.
That time Schmeltz finds Peters over the middle there, and Peters found a nice seam between the linebackers and the safeties. So the Lake safety's playing a little bit soft that time, and that's going to result in another first down for the Eagles. 1st and 10 at the 46. You were saying, partner, about the rankings.
Well, they top 8 in each region make the playoffs. Right now, this week, Lake is 4th, and Genoa was 5th. Got a nice run there.
Still carrying Lake players.
Brent Schumblom.
And that was a statement run there, Rick. Behind his blocker there, we see on our screen, Schlumbum finding room, putting a little bit of juke, gets past Jared Reddick, and then Reddick jumps on his back, and half the Lake defense is pushed in the pile down the field. So once again, 36-yard line, Eastwood on the march.
Hand off to Snowden. He hit the Lake Flyers brick wall there. Top dog there was Joel Densick, senior lineman and tight end.
Too much of that chocolate ice.
Number 80, he's a big one. Clock turns, 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Schmeltz out of the gun again. You almost wonder if you're going to see another big pass play.
That was the plan, but good coverage by the Lake secondary again, and as what you call a coverage sack. Who was
Lucas Lombardo came from the blind side and took Schmeltz out there that time. Yeah, that was definitely great coverage down the field by, there it is on the screen, looking for a receiver downfield, nowhere to go. Great coverage, and Lucas Lombardo cleans him up at the end there. So that'll bring up third and the next county, 3rd and 23 for the Eagles. Ball back at the 49-yard line.
Third and a train ride.
That's why I can.
Big defensive stance here for the Flyers. Got to get the ball back, get something going. 3 minutes left here almost in the.
Schmeltz has his favorite receiver, just overthrows him. And
again, that was Adam Duncan on the coverage deep.
Yep, Michael Flipsy was the intended receiver, and
great fake carried out by Schmeltz there, and he just heaves that one deep.
Flipsy wanted an interference call, but I don't think.
No, that was
kind of
just
hard.
Great,
Yeah,
great coverage.
And the ball was a little bit overthrown. So
looked like a skinny post pattern there. And again, Duncan with his 4.6 closing speed with a good defense.
Seifert back in punt formation, going to get it from his own 40.
Reddick and Duncan drop back to receive the punt.
Off the right side of his foot. It's going to go out of bounds on the, all the way down the Lake 15-yard line.
Toledo Sports Network out-of-town scoreboard, 44-12 in Genoa. The Comets now all over the Foster Redmond. We made it a little bit of an error earlier, Rick. We thought that Genoa only had one freshman playing. It turns out they started the entire freshman squad.
Oh,
so
okay.
Freshmen doing a good job out in Genoa. 44-12 your score again. So Genoa looking to improve to 6-0 and 3-0 with these Lake Flyers hosting them at Lake Community Stadium next Friday night.
Reddick rolling out. Throws. I think that was Denzik was the intended receiver.
Gotta be careful, Tyler. A lot more fluid.
And again, Rick, Jared's throw just a little bit low there. And I don't know if it's all the pressure that he's getting, because he's definitely a cool customer back in the pocket. He always has been. You don't throw for over 2,000 yards as a sophomore if you're not. But
exactly. And he was on that pace roughly of 900 yards through 5 games this year.
It just seems like the Flyer just a little bit out of sync this week, and give Eastwood credit. Marcel Bryan with the big run there. Takes it over left end, bounces off a couple of Eastwood defenders for about a 6-yard gain and bring up 3rd and 4. You don't want to say that this is a must-make for Lake here, but a first down sure would raise some spirits and get a little bit of confidence going here.
2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Reddick's first receiver's covered, and he doesn't have time to get to a second one. It's going to be brought down by Grant Geiser amongst other Eagles.
Kind of tiptoeing and picking his way up through, and he had nowhere to go there. You see, again, he does try to drop back. Great coverage again by Eastwood. Reddick takes it up, jukes the first defender there, and then gets hauled down by 2 or 3 Eagles. So, and I guess they did pick up the first. So Reddick did do his job. 25-yard line. 2:15 here to go in the third. 14-0 Eastwood.
Pitch out on the left side. Is that Marcel again?
We have a, looks like Todd Walters down on the field with an injury, Rick, and it looks like he's favoring that right ankle there. And they can ill afford to lose that 6'2" junior wide receiver. He leads the NBC so far this year, and I think you have his numbers there on our leaderboard somewhere.
Who are we looking at? I'm sorry, I was watching.
Todd Walters, the junior Lake wide receiver. He should be number one on.
Yeah, he's the leading receiver in the NBC. He's got 18 catches, 318 yards, 17 yards a catch. We'll be right back.
We never know how long this kid could be down here, so.
Gotcha. Okay. Tell me when you want us to talk again.
Once he starts getting up and walking away, we'll do it.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
The injured player on the field, Jeff, that was Todd Walters. And you said in the pregame, too, he's one of their go-to guys.
Yeah, when you're 6'2", I mean, we call him T-Money because he's the possession receiver. He runs those unforgiving slant routes over the middle.
Ouch.
And he hangs onto the ball. You know, he makes his living in no man's land out there between the safeties and the linebackers, but now he's making his way gingerly to the Lake sidelines. A little bit of help there, but he looked like he walked off at his own volition, so our thoughts are with him.
Zach Greenlease is his replacement out on the left side.
Another junior.
Redding, the keeper, he gets into the secondary. Gets knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
That's going to be 15 yards.
Flag sails. I'm guessing it was a late hit, just based on the timing of the end of the play.
Well, from here you're thinking either late hit out of bounds, or it kind of almost looked like a horse collar tackle too, the way he went down.
That's not it.
I don't know if we have a.
So Lake got a little something going here. The long run, about a 9-yard game. 9-yard gain. They'll tack on another 15.
Puts him on the Eastwood 40-yard line.
There it is on the instant replay. And yeah, it looks like it was just maybe a tackle out of bounds. I don't know if I would have thrown a flag on that one though. He was just trying to haul the player down.
Reddick out in the right flat, hits Marcel Bryant. Gets down around the 30-yard line. Could be another, and it is another Lake Flyer first down.
This is Lake's deepest penetration of the night, so the Flyers now got a little something going after that stop there. And you can see on the screen there, Rick, Marcel Bryant running with authority. So whatever was said to the Lake Flyers on the sidelines by Coach Mark Amons during that injury timeout, they've come out with a little bit of fire lit underneath them. Of course, the Flyers, like we said, they come in at 5-0, 2-0. A lot of pride on that Flyer squad out there. Brandon Short, he's going to be tripped on. The ball's loose.
Ball's on the ground. Eastwood.
That's an Eastwood recovery.
Lake ball carrier was Brendan Short, sophomore running back.
And that's definitely got to be deflating after that nice drive.
And they burned about 5-6 minutes off the clock, too, doing it.
So besides the turnover there, turning the ball over, they almost they kind of shot themselves in the foot burning that time off now because, again, 1:07 left here in the third. They're trailing 14-0, and that was their deepest penetration of the night. Time is running out here at Freedom Field for the Flyers. Another quarter to go, but they need a defensive stance here.
Schmelzer in the gun again. Thought about throwing it, still wants to. He's going to. He gets down the sideline. Going to be, chased out of bounds just across the 50-yard line.
Marcel Bryan with a tackle after Schmelz juked 2 or 3 Flyers. And we can see he's got some great edge speed out there. So another quarterback definitely who's a threat to take off. Not just, Jared Reddick, he can run, but so can Jake Schmelz.
Schmelz. Probably going to have a couple strawberries after that. A little slide on the all-weather sideline over there.
Don't get tackled either.
Meanwhile, back in Genoa, the freshmen still putting on a show over the Foster Redmond, 44-18.
Ouch.
Thanks to Lee Nissen and the Toledo Sports Network out-of-town scoreboard.
That handoff is to Brendan Seifert. He gets stopped for a loss of about a couple of yards. Clock turns. Might have another play or two left in the third quarter. But so far it's been all Eastwood on homecoming Friday night here outside of Pimperville.
Show me something. Maybe refs or something there. That's good right there. Tyler's live. Scoreboard's in.
Schmeltz gets his instructions. He's back
All right.
in the huddle.
You're good. Tyler, get ready.
Brings him up to the line of scrimmage.
Steve's live as always. There it is.
This time the handoff
Snowden.
to Michael Glaze.
Stop. Play.
Yeah, it was.
Glaze, a 5'11 senior.
Thank you.
7 ticks left here in the third quarter. Once again, Eastwood
that's
with the
gonna
ball
be it.
running,
Yep.
running the ball downhill, and that'll be it for the third.
So after 3 quarters in Eastwood, it's Eastwood 14, the Lake Flyers 0.
I don't like their ad campaign.
Well, we're all set and ready to go here for the fourth quarter. He's Jeff Jaywalk Norwalk. This is Rick R-Dub Waldron. And Eastwood homecoming has been all Eastwood tonight, Jeffrey.
Yes, it has, and this is definitely not the showing that Lake wanted to have coming into what is probably their first real stiff test of the season. We thought this would be a measuring stick. Only down by a couple of scores, but time is definitely running out here at Freedom Field for the Flyers.
Brennan Seifert, the ball carrier, and now they, as you said, now they can just pretty much grind it out. Nowhere near victory formation, but we can take up time.
I saw in our instant replay there, nice escort of blockers out front for Seifert. And that'll bring up 2nd and 5 here, ball to 33. 11:30 left here in this ball game, 14-0 Eastwood.
Suddenly quiet.
2nd and 5. Ball carrier this time, Devin Snowden.
Snowden just churning those legs.
Still
like
on his
pistons.
feet.
Just bouncing off of Lake tacklers there. Toledo Sports Network instant replay shows those the tackling by Lake there just a little bit suspect, but give Devin Snowden credit for keeping those legs churning. I'm going to bring up a new set of downs for the Eastwood Eagles.
11 minutes to go in the ball game. Schmeltz back up under center, fakes to Snowden. Drops the handoff.
Oh.
Brent Schlumbaum.
Schlumbaum just decked there by Marcel Bryan at the end of that play. A little bit of pushing and shoving. Got to think that the frustration's starting to show for the Flyers a little bit, but great hard tackle by.
Talk about making lemonade out of lemons, too. The ball carrier actually dropped the pitch.
And still picked up 4 yards out of that one. Just like I said, Snowden's a dangerous weapon. We saw him do some nice things in Eastwood's 41-7 loss last week in Genoa.
There he gets the handoff again, right up the middle. Should have enough for a first down. Timeout for a measurement.
All right. For this measurement, Steve, stay wide. Tyler tried to get me a shot.
Okay, I take that back. It's a Lake timeout with 9:42 to go in the ballgame.
Yeah, to bring up 3rd and 1. Ball's going to be on the 15. And you can see Coach Rutherford here. It's just a classic football strategy here. You're up 2 scores, 14-0, only 9:42 to go in this one. Keep the ball on the ground, nothing silly in the air, no interceptions, no risk of turnovers. Take the ball, the air out of the football.
You know, a lot of the Lake team over there in their.
Speaking of footballs in the air, the Eastwood cheerleaders winging the mini footballs up in the stands. And I think, honestly, even though we're Genoa alums, Rick, I think the Eastwood cheerleaders have better arms than the Genoa cheerleaders.
I think so.
These are all making it to the top row. And some of them are getting thrown back. Do they think they're at a ball game or what?
It's like being in Wrigley Field and the fans' response to a visiting team's home run. You know, during that timeout, the Lake Ball Club over on the other side of the field, almost to a man, they all had their helmets off and hands on hips and
body language.
Yeah, exactly. They may be close to being out of gas. Schmeltz now is going to keep it, bounce it out to the right side. Down inside the 10-yard line. We're going to have a 1st and goal on the 6-yard line. Here he goes.
Jaya dodging the blitz. Just finds a nice little seam up the right side and backs his way into about the 6-yard line. So the clock's rolling, about 9.5 minutes here, and the Eastwood Eagles knocking on the door again. 1st and 6 from the 6-yard line. Schmeltz under center. He's going to hand the ball off, and that's going to be run in for an Eastwood touchdown.
Brennan Seifert on the ball carrier.
Yep, number 5, Brandon Seifert. That'll make it 20-0 Eagles at the 9:08 mark here in the 4th quarter. And again, that's that sweep right, falling behind his blocker textbook, even knocking his own guys out of the way, finds a pylon, dives in, 6 points. Eastwood Eagles.
Apparently there's a tradition here at Eastwood that some group of students runs the length of the field after every touchdown. And tonight they're all clad in pink. McCullough's point after. Up and good. Got to give a shout out to this one young man. I don't know who he is. that runs with the student, all the boy and girl students dressed in pink. He is sprayed pink with a lot of glitter. Now there's a young man that is very sure of his masculinity. 9 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the ball game, and Eastwood now comfortably on top, 21-0.
First Federal Bank is a proud sponsor of high school football in Northwest Ohio.
Pub 51 is just a great neighborhood bar and grill. They're about as close to being all things to all people as I've seen. They have a miniature bowling league, and they take that pretty darn seriously. Oh, and a dartball league, and a cornhole league, and a pool league. They have a lot of leagues. Pub 51 has a big outdoor patio, too. Well, their pizza and food are reasonably priced, too. Give Pub 51 a try. They're on Woodville Road, just a half-mile east of the Woodville Mall.
The union plumbers, steam fitters, and HVACR service mechanics of UA Local 50 build the powerhouses that generate your electricity. Install and service your heating and air conditioning systems, and install the plumbing systems that protect the health of this nation. Everywhere there's a building being built, retrofitted, or maintained, members of UA Local 50 are on the job with skills and the latest sustainable building practices to do the job right. UA Local 50 plumbers, steam fitters, and service mechanics, building America's future.
Whether you support the Comets, the Panthers, or the Bulldogs, the Eagles, Wildcats, or Flyers, we at Genoa Bank support you. We're a local bank that takes pride in serving our community with personal and prompt service, innovative products, and stable financial guidance. We're a bank that believes in playing our part. And well, that's earned us quite a few fans of our own. Genoa Bank, playing our part in the community, taking your banking needs personally.
On the job for you for over 100 years. You need a career. You need a future. Local 8 can help you make it happen. Join the men and women who build our community. Become a part of a proud tradition. Build your career. Build your future with the brothers and sisters of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 8. We're on the job for you.
We're on the job for you. We're the local IBEW.
Once again, Eastwood lines up this dual, kicking duo. Once again, Salinas. And once again, it's caught by
Drayton Williams.
His doppelganger, number 9, Drayton Williams.
Yeah, Drayton Williams, a sophomore, and he kind of climbed the ladder, jumped up in the air to receive that one. That one was risky, Rick. If he would have got hit and lost that one, that would have been all she wrote.
Yeah.
I mean, the fat lady isn't singing yet, but she's starting to warm up here.
They
with
can start the bus, I think.
9:05 left, 21-0 Eastwood. Thus far, that high-powered Lake spread offense has had no answers for this Eastwood defense. Ready to pitch it. Yeah, he's going to pitch it to Marcel Bryan. Bryan finds a little room over the left side. Sweep, it's a full wrist, and he's knocked out of bounds. He tried to deliver a blow there with his shoulder, but he couldn't take on 2 Eastwood defenders. Nonetheless, a big gain.
Looking ahead to the contest next week when Genoa visits Lake. On one hand, Genoa could be facing a very angry Lake squad if this score, if it ends up in a very decisive Eastwood victory. Ready, out of the shotgun. Quick pass out on the left. Out of bounds on the 36-yard line.
It's caught by junior Zach Greenlees. So obviously Todd Walters, who was favoring that ankle, injured earlier, still not back in the ball game. So it'll be Duncan and Greenlees as the 2 wide receivers. Again, Reddick will be working out of the shotgun with Marcel Bryan, the single setback to the left. Reddick drops back. He's being chased down. He's going to be sacked by number 21 for Eastwood, and that's going to be a huge loss, Rick.
Michael Glaze.
Michael Blaze.
Michael Glaze.
Glaze, and that's going to definitely, right here you see he comes from the blind side. Never saw him coming, and that's going to be a huge loss, and that's got to be yet another blow delivered to the Lake Flyers. That'll bring up 3rd and 19, ball at the 48-yard line. You want to say it's time for Jared to air it out, but he hasn't had a whole lot of time to air it out tonight. And that ball is on the ground, bad snap, and Coach Amons has got to be going out of his mind over there on the Lake sideline.
This is the kind of game when you get off the bus, you get back to the school, you head right to the practice
field. You're not going home tonight. And I was going to bring up yet another punting situation for Lake here late with about 7 minutes left. Now we're about 7:20, 21-0. You would think maybe on 4th and 21 they would have went for that one, but they're going to boot it away. Jacob Redding has to kind of field a weird, wonky snap there. That ball is going to roll down, take a Lake roll.
Inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, maybe do about the 6 or 7.
Yep. 7 minutes to go, 7:02 to be exact. And Eastwood on top, 14-0. I'm sorry, 21-0.
Score was right, damn it. I was right. Nah.
Eastwood calls the timeout, but Jeff, you said we just heard from the Toledo Sports Network scoreboard.
Scoreboard lead us and checking in from G-Town. It's 51-18. The Genoa Comets freshmen all over the Fostoria Redmond. There's 4:10 left in the third quarter of that ball game back in Genoa. So the Comets continue to roll. They'll improve to 6-0 and 3-0 in the NBC when they travel to Millbury next week and try to take on this Lake Township Air Force, which this week so far, Rick, has been grounded in Pemberville.
So our cooking show that I shoot on Wednesdays is on.
Yeah, lots of static coming from the
Yeah,
headphones.
a lot of nothing but static in our headphones.
I don't know why. Scoreboard, Tyler.
You know, tomorrow, typically the freshman teams play the Saturday morning after the varsities play on Friday night. And at all levels of high school play, you're limited to a certain number of quarters a week. I wonder who Genoa is going to field as their freshmen tomorrow.
Well, Little Comets, maybe?
Little Comets, yeah.
Cupboard definitely not empty over there in
Camp
Genoa for
Cruikshank
Coach Spiess and company.
Okay, here we go. Schmeltz hands off around the right side.
Seifert gets maybe a yard out of that one. Nowhere to go, though Lake had that one scouted out well.
Scoreboard, please.
And as expected, Rick, absolutely no urgency to get the next play off for the
Nope.
Eagles. Smart thing to do, football strategy. Take seconds off the clock. Nothing Lake can do but except sit and watch the scoreboard tick down and hope for a miracle at this point. Bring up 2nd and 9 for Schmeltz and company. He's going to come up under center. Single setback behind him. Man goes in motion. He's going to hand the ball off just as we thought.
You know, the other thing right now in Eastwood under the shadow of their goalpost, behind that goalpost is the scoreboard. And all Lake can do is stand there and stare at that 21-0 score.
Yeah, that's got to be rough, too, especially you're helpless as you watch those seconds tick off there. You know, Lake was hoping for a perfect season, but looks like it's going to slip out of their grasp.
Right
here
now,
tonight.
Eastwood's pitching a perfect shutout. We haven't had the pleasure of, I mentioned before, we've talked to Coach Rutherford here many, many times. Have you talked to Mark Amons, the
Yes,
Lake
I
coach?
have. Yes, I have. Again, 21 seasons with the Wasion Indians, 3 NWOAL championships, and they took Wasion to a 14-0 record in the state title back in '93. And he's another guy who's just very enthusiastic about his new job with the Flyers. This is definitely a team on the up and come, and it all starts with that quarterback, Jared Reddick, who's only a junior this year. And he's going to have both Walters and Duncan back next year, who are a junior and sophomore respectively. So it's not looking bleak out in Lake Township. This is a team that will be a team to contend with here the rest of the season and in the future. Tonight, just a little bit of growing pains for Lake.
Yep. You see, once again, they're over there. They've got their helmets off. And if there's one thing that most coaches are adamant about, you don't take your hat off on the football field.
Yeah, another thing
It's
is
a sign of weakness.
And another thing is when you go to the sidelines, you never whip the helmet to the ground in frustration because that just, like you said, that shows frustration. It shows weakness. You never want to show the opposition that.
Ranks right up there with the Leroy Jethro Gibbs apology.
5:36 here to go from Freedom Field, 21-0 Eastwood. And they're going to hand the ball off again.
There's a loss of a few yards on that play.
Yeah, I didn't even honestly know where the football was on that one. They carried out so many fakes on that play, but Seifert went for nothing. It'll bring up 4th and 10. Still 5 minutes to go in this one. This should give Lake decent field position, but remember the punter for the Eastwood Eagles is a former first-team All-NBCer, so obviously he has a leg, but he's going to be booting it out of the shadow of his own.
5 minutes to go.
That's going to be Seifert punting here.
Make sure you're stepping out there, Tyler.
And Lake lines up offside. Oh, boy.
Man, it's one of them nights.
Head for the practice field, boys. If I'm a starter for the Lake Flyers, I'm up talking to the coach right now. Can I go home with my mom and dad?
Adam Duncan and Jared Redding waiting back for the punt, just looking at each other in disbelief. And like you said, the hands on the hips kind of tells the story. Still 4:42 left to go in this one. Lake would like to see their team get on the board here.
Oh.
And that ball is going to go over Adam Duncan's head.
Going to roll dead.
But to the 45-yard line, 46 it looks like.
Yep. So they've Lake is going to start on the proverbial short field, 55 yards from pay dirt. If this was Canadian football, they'll be at midfield. 4:28 to go in the ball game. And, I've always maintained that, 14 points can be made up in the flash of an eye. You need some breaks. You score a touchdown, onside kick, you recover, you score again. Of all people, the Detroit Lions actually did that performed that scenario last year, so it can happen. But here we have a 21-point deficit. Redding, they run the reverse.
It'll be Nick Walsh keeping that one there. So the Flyers, uncharacteristically, they are a very well-balanced offense, like we talked about in the pregame. They can pass and run with equal aplomb, but right now at this point, you would think they would be trying to air it out, but they keep it on the ground to Nick Walsh there.
Okay, Redding. Is that Greenlease?
Yeah, Zach Greenlease.
Yep. Real close to the first down. It is a first down.
And the smart thing there for the junior wide receiver was to get out of bounds. So again, the ball game not over, but let's put it this way. The buses are starting to start up and warm up here for the trip back to Millbury, and I'm sure it'll be a long one here tonight.
Bus drivers making one last stop at the Bratwurst stand. Redding rolls left.
Adam Duncan wide open, Rick, and he's got some moves. He's in the open field.
Picked up a couple blocks, got inside the 20, brought down about the 14-yard line.
So going to be in business. 3:30 left here, and that right there you saw Adam Duncan's 4.6 40 speed. So when I talked to Coach Amons about Adam Duncan, he said not is he only fast, but he's quick, and those are two very different things.
Very different things.
They really are. He's got that top-end speed to outrun the coverage, but he's also got the speed, the quick, short steps to make men miss.
Another reverse.
Again to Nick Walsh, which goes for nothing.
No, they've run that play 2 or 3 times now, and it hasn't accomplished anything.
And on that one, Rick, it looked like there was almost a little bit of a mishandle on the second handoff.
Right.
Lake's going to take a timeout. And we're going to take a timeout here with another update from Genoa, the Toledo Sports Network out-of-town scoreboard. It's now 51-24. Genoa over the Foster Redmond with 4:51 left in the third quarter. So the freshmen playing, doing an admirable job for Coach Spiess and company out there in G-Town, but time running out on the Redmond as well.
You know, when you've been coaching 32 years, head coach just walk out to the hash marks, talk to the official. They don't shoo him back to the sidelines.
How many of those officials you think are on Coach Rutherford's Christmas card list? He's probably got quite a few of them that
Show me the coach.
There's a young man with the glitter waving at the crowd. Wow. He's a brave young man. Bold young man. Here we go. Back to football action. Now Reddick rolling to his right, and he finds a safety valve out there on the right side.
senior inside, you can see on the replay there, Reddick rolls right, and then senior Ryan Mang on the blitz just looked like he was shot out of a cannon and over pursued Reddick, which allowed him to get the ball out to Brandon Short. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 6 here for the Flyers. Approaching the 2-minute mark, about 2.5 minutes.
Wallace, Adam is back in the ball game.
Yeah, Walters is back in the ball game.
Reddick rolls left.
Yeah, Reddick slips on the
his
turf.
footing.
Walters looks like he's a little bit gimpy there, jogging back to the huddle, Rick. It looks like he's favoring that ankle just a little bit.
Going back out, actually.
Yeah, they looked like maybe they were going for a big fade there with the 6'2" wide receiver, but the turf obviously a little bit slick and muddy in spots. Reddick slips down, and that play right there alone was characteristic of the whole night for these Flyers. 4th and 14. Last gasp time for the Flyers. Reddick under center. He drops back to throw. Over the middle to Adam Duncan, and it's knocked away by number 19.
Wow. Oh, I was looking at
Jordan Fakosh, 6'2", 180-pound senior defensive back, and that will be it for the Lake Flyers here tonight.
Fakosh, another long-time Eastwood name.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of the Fakoshes.
Mostly on the basketball
excel
court.
on the hardwood for the Eagles.
You know, who has to, the Eastwood offense is executed pretty much flawlessly tonight, but tip of the Underdogs Radio and Toledo Sports Network hats to the defensive coordinator for Eastwood, who came up with this plan to stop Reddick and company.
Yeah, because nobody else has been able to do it this year, that's for sure.
Came in here averaging over 40 points a game. What would they have, 233 for 5 games, I think?
Yeah, 233 points for. So their defense has only allowed 60. But this has definitely been the stiffest test they've faced thus far this year.
The sports so-called experts at the local daily newspaper predicted Lake victories, and the chairman of the board there, Steve Junga, he predicted Eastwood.
He's going to be the man standing tall this week.
Yep, and we got another penalty flag over where it's probably an offside or a motion. Okay, illegal procedure.
At this point, it's all elementary. We're about 107 left here at Freedom Field.
67
this ball game.
ticks.
Yeah, 21-0 Eastwood over Lake.
Are you really wore out? Give the camera some.
And if you're the Flyers at this point, you just want to get on the bus and get back and regroup and get ready for the Genoa Comets next week. It definitely doesn't get any easier next week, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Like the Flyers ran into a brick wall here tonight, and next week they're going to run into a buzzsaw. So they go back to Lemoyne Road, get on the practice field, and get some kinks worked out and get ready to welcome in Genoa to beautiful Lake Community Stadium, really one of the most gorgeous new stadiums in the NBC, Rick. Drew and I were out there the first week when Lake hosted the Fremont St. Joe Crimson Streaks, and just a great Friday night atmosphere. So big props to Dave Schaefer and all the Lake people for really recovering after that devastating twister and really putting together not only a great football facility, but a great program with Coach Amons and company. And of course, we would like to give Eastwood thanks for their hospitality. I mean, as far as press box facilities go, Rick, and the spread that they put on up here,
This is number one.
yeah, it has been tops.
We mentioned earlier the superintendent, Brent Welker, the athletic director, Chris Fahim, and their assistant athletic director for the last 24 years, Sharon. She gets the major props for the facilities up here. The little pieces of candy and bowls of peanuts, refrigerator full of sweet pop.
And I don't know about you, but I've never been to, in all our years of covering football together, I've never been to a high school game except maybe the playoff game at Frost Calnow Stadium down in Tiffin when Genoa took on
Was it Kettering Alder?
No, it wasn't Alder. Well, nonetheless,
Yeah.
I've never been to a stadium where they've actually waited on you and brought you food. Well, here just tonight, they must have heard us talking about brats, and they sent some couriers up with a couple brats. So we want to thank you for those, too. And those are some of the best brats I've had at a football stadium.
Dishes of candy and peanuts all along the counter here at where the announcers all sit. And kudos to Dave in the truck and
The whole crew.
Steve and Cameron, our videographer. And that's going to be it.
That's going to do it.
Well, they're already turning off the scoreboard. There's 8 seconds left on the clock. But that's the story from Eastwood High School. 21-0. Eastwood wins their homecoming game.
We'll line up for the traditional handshake here. And while they do that, we'll run through the scoring real quick. Not a whole lot to run through. At the 9:36 mark of the second was a 40-yard strike from Schmeltz to Flipsy on a beautiful flea flicker play. That put him up 7-0. Then at the 4:34 mark of the second was Schmeltz to Flipsy again on a 22-yard touch pass. Probably the pass of the night, in my opinion. 14-0. After a scoreless third quarter at the 9:08 mark, Seifert had a 6-yard sweep run around the right end to make it 20-0. The PAT was good, 21-0, and this one's in the books with that score.
Sounds good. So till next time on Toledo Sports Radio, he's Jeff Jaywalk Norwalk. I'm Rick R. Dub Waldron, and
we want to give props to our videographer out there on the field, Andrew Vogelpool, still doing his duty out there after the game, taking video. You can see all the great video work that he does on our Underdogs Facebook page, our Underdogs Sports Magazine. Make sure you visit that and hit the like button about 1 million times. It's growing. What are we up? We're well over 200.
Well over 200, and we've only been doing this a few weeks. So big shout out, thanks to everybody, and Mike Jameson
for letting us
letting us play along. And like Mick Gonzalez said last week, he said this way we don't have to pay to get in a game, and we get to sit in comfort, and we get free food. So what a blessing!
Amen. We'll say amen to that. Be sure to watch out for our talk show on Underdogs Radio here within the next 2 weeks. And from Freedom Field, your final score, Eastwood Eagles 21, Lake Flyers 0. And we'll see you next time.